Couple post photo online, dad notices they're both his daughters. They looked at each other from across the table before their eyes slowly drifted to the DNA results. They struggled to see past the tears in their eyes, their hearts beating in their throats. Both girls were trying their best to keep their composure. Everything they had been struggling with led to this very moment. They were about to open the envelope when one of them spoke. If the results are positive, would it be wrong to stay together? New Yorkers Christy and Eiling had been dating for 2 years before everything they knew came crashing down on them. Everything in their life had been perfect, from their professional and academic lives to their day-to-day activities. It all began as a joke from a random comment on one of their joint social media accounts. But what that comment would bring would leave them in tears. Christy and Eiling met in their final year of college. Their meeting had been a chance one, given that they came from entirely different academic and social backgrounds. For one, Christy was an art history major, while Eiling had her academic path cut through engineering. Still, the two would run into each other, resulting in the happiest 24 months of their lives. Christy and Eiling's meeting happened at a local orphanage near their college. Their respective schools, among other faculties, had joined hands to run a charity for the orphanage. Among the students chosen to attend the event were the two girls, each oblivious of what fate had in store. What would start with a harmless compliment from Christy would evolve into a beautiful relationship. But unknown to them, a storm would be steady brewing on their paradise's horizon. 2 years passed with Christy and Eiling still together. Their love for each other was stronger than ever, and their relationship was still fresh. But the two would make a decision that, although harmless and considerably cute at the time, would change their lives forever. It would leave them distraught and questioning the validity of the feelings they had for each other. The day everything changed for Christy and Eiling was as typical as any other. They decided to make a joint Instagram account for their family, seeing that they'd adopted the cutest German shepherd together. They began posting photos of the pup alongside their own, hoping to immortalize those memories forever. But one comment would change everything. The comment in question was simple. "You two look identical." Christy smiled at it, thinking she'd never considered that she and her partner looked alike. But then more comments, no doubt inspired by this single one, started streaming in. "You do look exactly the same," one read. "Take a DNA test. We are scared for you too," another read. That's when the dread set in. Christy shared the comments with Eiling, who also laughed at first, but then quieted down when she started noticing how similar her physical appearance was to Christy. But then they started talking about everything, digging into the darkest reaches of their family histories that they'd always avoided. What they'd discover would leave them running to get a DNA test. "Both of us were raised by single moms," a teary Christy shared in a video. "We didn't know that our moms had a relationship with the same guy around the time each of us was born." The two called their mothers immediately to confirm the stories they'd grown up with. They ascertained that their moms did indeed have serious relationships with the same guy a year apart. Their stomachs nodded as they realized they could be half-sisters. Christy and Eiling took a DNA test at their earliest convenience. Meanwhile, the post that started everything had gone viral, bringing in even more views concerning their predicament. "Being related could explain why you two look like sisters," one user wrote. "Everything is identical, from the shape of your eyes, lips, and even chins," another stated. "I just saw some of your photos and videos, and I think you should get those tests done immediately," another user said. But what would the two girls do if the tests came out positive? The next few days became a blur for Christy and Eiling as they awaited their results via physical mail. "We could have done it through email," said Eiling. "But we feared what those tests would tell us. We didn't want this to end." Regardless of how long they tried to stall, the results still reached their front door. Before the two knew it, they were sitting on opposite ends of their dining table, ready to face this nightmare. Christy reached over and pecked Eiling's forehead. But before they unwrapped the envelope, Eiling asked, "If the results are positive, would it be wrong to stay together?" Christy smiled, squeezing her partner's hands before they both ripped the envelope seal. They pulled out the results, and Christy cried as every muscle in her body spasmed. "We're not related," Eiling stammered in disbelief. She reread the paper, pulling it closer to her eyes to ensure she didn't miss anything. But the answer was clear before her eyes. She and the love of her life were not related in any way despite their moms having a relationship with the same man some decades back. Christy and Eiling couldn't believe it. "We opened a bottle to celebrate that evening," Eiling shared. They also posted selected parts of the DNA results on Instagram, finally updating their growing fanbase on the gut-wrenching situation. But although they'd cleared the air over the matter, the great question still loomed over their heads. This time, they would ask their fans the same. If we're related, is it wrong to stay together? The answers ranged from simple yeses and nos to more complex responses that brought morality and genetics into the picture. One user wrote, "I wouldn't, but if the love is real and this is something you can look past, then work for it." Another said, "You can't procreate, so where's the harm?" While another wrote, "It would be very wrong." One would think that something like this doesn't happen very often. However, another couple faced a similar situation with an entirely different outcome.